everybody, welcome back to my Unprocessed life. I'm headed to work and I'm running way behind today. Even worse than yesterday, if that's believable. I guess it is believable. It's definitely possible. I think that's probably where I was going. I'm not really sure how I'm slacking it off so badly these days, but man, I've missed everything the last 2 days. You know, one more day, this is going to be a habit, and that's going to be a terrible thing. So I've got to get back on the horse. I've got to find a way to, will myself to making sure that I'm making good choices. So tonight, when I get back, I'm going to make my smoothies for tomorrow, even if they have to sit longer. Yesterday I told you how I hate to do that, but with how I haven't been able to get everything squared away and how I've been missing on all of my work that I've been trying to do, on trying to make sure that I have healthy stuff, and my pound of greens a day has kind of gone to crud. So I'm really disappointed in myself, and it's very frustrating. And this is usually the point where I would be like, well, screw it, I'll just quit. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because that's a habit that I always fall back into. Right, what I would normally do at this point is I would be like, okay, next Monday we're going to start all over again. Well, of course, today is Thursday, which would mean that I'd have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to kind of just slack off. And that would be the way that I would normally do things. This time, I'm not going to do that because I think it just reinforces a bad habit that I have, and I don't want to do that. I really want to break that bad habit. And as much as I beat myself up or want to beat myself up for just, failing, and not just failing because I can't do it, failing because I don't care enough to do it, or because I psychologically am having a challenge or something along those lines, If it was just simple, straight up, I can't do something, then I can't really blame myself if you try your hardest. But clearly I'm not trying my hardest because I can do this, and I've been doing it for a while, with little spots in between where I screw up. And I don't know if that's just a learning process or what exactly it is. I don't know. I haven't identified what it is that subconsciously sabotages me. I mean, that's what I've got to think it is that I'm subconsciously sabotaging myself because of one reason or another. Maybe I'm not comfortable with getting healthy, or maybe I'm not comfortable with getting thin. Maybe as crazy as that sounds, I've gotten used to carrying around a lot of weight, and I've gotten used to being the big guy, and how people react to me based on being huge. And so I'm not sure that I would be comfortable if I was thinner. I'm not sure, that may be part of what my subconscious is doing, is trying to say, hey, listen, you need to back this off, because if you get all fit and healthy and skinny, God only knows what's going to happen. And so, that could be part of it. That's very possible. One of the things that I think is really important is to make sure that you do a lot of introspection when you're doing anything in life. Try to make sure that you understand your motivations, why you do what you do, why you want to do what you want to do, and do you really want to do what you say you want to do? I've said for a long time I want to run an online business, but do I really want to do that? Because if I really wanted to do that, wouldn't I do more things? Wouldn't I, take more steps? Wouldn't I make it more of a priority? And the answer is yes. Apparently I don't want it badly enough, which is more of a layman's terms of saying that it's not a high enough priority. So, I have to look into why I kind of sabotage myself when it comes to these things. And it's not that different than, again, a drug addict. I have friends and some family members who have been drug addicts, and it's frustrating to watch them, because you can see they'll try to make a step to get out of where they're at. They'll really try, and for whatever reason, they'll sabotage themselves. They'll come back into using. They'll they'll be doing really great for a long time, and then all of a sudden, boom, they get sucked right back in. And and it's not that different when it comes to food and eating and being unhealthy either. Just because you've discovered the way, the truth, and the life when it comes to how to eat correctly and how to live healthily, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy to implement, or that it's easy to do, or that that just means that you've arrived. You haven't. You started a journey. You've found what works, but you haven't figured out how to make it work for you. You found out what the truth is, but you haven't been able to figure out how to implement that truth in your life. And so that's really one of my biggest challenges, is that I found a way to be healthy, but I haven't found a way to really make it fit into my life in the way that it needs to. And that's, I'm not making any excuses here. I'm the one completely at fault here. But it's a struggle that I deal with. And so I wanted to let you know that, hey, it's a struggle that I deal with, so that you could understand from my perspective, or at least join me on my perspective, or, see that it's not always easy. And even if it's good and it's right and it's, the way that you need to go, it's not easy. There's a reason why some people don't take their meds, and there's a reason behind those kinds of things. And part of the journey is figuring out why those reasons exist and trying to eliminate them, whether it means uncovering things from your past, or uncovering current feelings and held philosophies that you have to abandon, or whether there are new ones that you need to adopt. And all of those pieces kind of fit together to try to make you find who you are. And above and beyond that, then there's all the emotional things that will come up once you start to heal yourself. So and maybe that's part of it. I've read a number of accounts by different raw food folks who've gone through the process of trying to get healthy and cleaning their lives up. And some of them have said that the psychological detox is far worse than the physical ailments. And so there could be part of that my body, my subconscious is saying, I don't really want to go through all that psychological stuff, so I don't know that I want you to get healthy. That doesn't sound appealing to me. So, needless to say, that there are challenges, there are psychological challenges that you have to deal with that are really even more important than what type of foods you eat. A lot of times, you want to focus on the foods and eating the foods and not focus on the psychological piece of it. But if you think about it, the psychological piece is always going to be the most important, because that's where you choose. That's where you choose to eat good things or eat bad things. That's where you choose to live a happy life or a destructive life. That's where you choose. Your life's all about choosing, and you get to choose. You can choose whether to be happy or whether to be sad. But if you don't have the right frame of mind, if you don't understand what's happening in your brain, then it's hard to overcome those things and do what you really want to do. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've looked at a green smoothie and went, I really don't want to drink this, but then I do anyway. Well, that's because I'm making that decision to do it because my head is in the right place. But on some days, some nights, my brain wins and says, you don't have to get up early enough to make that stuff. Sleep a little bit later, and it plays the mind tricks on you, and you don't do what you need to do. And that is where the mental strength comes in, and you have to understand that you don't want to sabotage yourself. So, all that being said, these are all things I'm struggling with, and I'm trying to put behind me, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it right. And I'm not succeeding long term. I'm succeeding for short periods of time, but maybe if I can string enough of those short periods of time together, it will eventually work itself out. So All right. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that over myunprocessed.life. You can email me at myunprocessedlife@gmail.com. Of course, love comments. If you leave some comments down below. And of course, as my son always says, he always mimics me. He says, of course. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you listening to me have something to say and to interact with me. I'm really humbled about that. If you want to know when new videos come out, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified. And until next time, have a great day. I'll see you soon on My Unprocessed Life.